Going live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very literary edition of Amy Seeks. We have with us tonight Dan Barbarisi, the author of Chasing the Thrill. And it is like the definitive book on the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, as well as Cynthia Meacham, an intrepid searcher and holder of all my secrets. Welcome, you two. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Amy, for having me at least here. Absolutely.
I call, you know, I did it as a favor to someone. So, all right. So, let's see here. Okay, we are live. I just verified on YouTube on my other screen here. Let me go ahead and turn that volume down. Now, I have been told to dive straight into questions. So after a brief summary from Dan, that's exactly what we're going to do. So for all of you watching in the chat, just to let you guys know, hold off your questions for now. We will be going over chat questions after we answer some of our other questions first, and after a brief summary from Dan. So Dan,
yes,
you and I met in 2018 at Fenbury.
17, I believe, 17.
Oh, 17. Oh man, I'm so old. Okay. 2017, where you told me that you were hoping to become one of the top searchers in the Forrest Fenn hunt and write a book about the experience.
Yeah.
Right? So if you wouldn't mind, give us a brief summary about how that went and, of course, what readers can expect in your fabulous book right here.
Sure. Yeah, no, right. Amy, as you recall, that was February 2017, kind of just before everything went a little crazy. But yeah, I had started on this a few months before that, and just my search partner Beep, who I know you met there. Yes, he got me into the whole thing, and I almost instantly just wanted to both write about it and participate in it. Both because it's cool to be a part of, and also because I think that's a great way to tell the story and understand what people in it are really feeling and doing. And so, right, by the time I met you, I was only 2 or 3 months into the whole experience, but was already trying what I could to understand and talk to everyone I could, and just get close to it and really try to start to live the life of a searcher. I don't think I ever became a top searcher. I think I was a pretty crap one forever, but I think I at least got to do a good enough job of understanding it and living it, and being out there searching wherever I could, and just trying to kind of live the experience, just so that I could tell people about it and relate it to the outside world who maybe didn't understand this so well, and try to kind of treat this as a book that hopefully in years to come will encapsulate the experience of what it was like to be a part of this. So that was really the goal. And yeah, so did spend the last essentially 4 years until just now working on that. And yeah, as you said, just came out last week. And so just happy to be here and talk about it, and get to see Cynthia again, who I got to go on a number of searches with, and as anyone who's read the book knows, is certainly a big part of the book. And it's a real pleasure for me to get to see you again, Cynthia.
Yeah, you too, Dan.
Now it's very similar to your approach to dueling with kings.
Yes.
I bought that book right after meeting you. Excellent book. But it did change over the course of how you approached it the same as Dueling Kings, but then it evolved.
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. I mean, yeah, I thought it was like, okay, this format worked in the previous book. I'm going to try to translate that again to another thing. I think, to myself, at least I had proven I could do that. Yes. And so I wanted to try to take the approach and see if I could then apply it to what was, frankly, a very different kind of subject matter. That book was about DraftKings and FanDuel and gambling and all that.
Well, and you became Fantasy Hockey World Champ 2015.
Yes, that is true. So that was a weird thing. That worked out. And it was funny because I remember when I was selling, this book proposal to, publishers or, pitching it, I was like, and I made it work the last time, so I'll definitely find the treasure. I won the last thing. It'll totally work too, which I was completely, kidding about, but I was able to at least, kind of half-ass that because I said, see, I won the thing the last time.
Yeah, you had credibility.
But yeah, no, I mean, I thought the approach really worked to understand their world that first time. And so, I really just wanted to try to translate that again. I'm not the first person who came up with this. George Plimpton was doing this kind of stuff in the 60s. Neil Strauss was doing it really well in the mid-2000s. James McManus in the mid-2000s. But, it is a tricky thing to pull off because you have to try both to, be a part of the thing and live it, but also you're trying to tell the 30,000 foot version too, so you have to do both of those. And they are competing with each other at times to try to do those. But you have to be conscious of the conflicts that arise between the two of them as you're writing it.
I was going to actually ask about that. Yes, while you're actually writing something, you have to give that version where you're the outside observer for those people who are unfamiliar with everything, and yet you have to be completely involved and engrossed in it. That was an excellent description of that.
Yeah, those can be hard things to reconcile at times, so.
All right. So there's a lot more people in chat right now. So I'm going to reiterate real quick. I see all the Amy Seeks there. Hi, Tom Walker. Watch out for those low-hanging sheep balls. And long story. Tom says, hi, Cynthia. So save your questions until a little bit later. We will be opening questions up to chat. And let's see here. I guess we're ready to dive in. Okay, first question.
Okay.
If you could ask Jack 3 questions that he would have to answer honestly, what would those questions be? It can be 2 or 1, but you get the gist.
Well, the question then is, do I then have to tell everybody else?
No, nope.
Because that's the problem.
Nope. Pretend like you signed an NDA.
All right, and nobody's then going to come after me for the fact that I know
nobody's going to know.
That is kind of the issue here,
I love that you actually are familiar with that, because few people outside the search understand that.
Yeah.
Nope. You can ask these questions.
Look,
no one knows.
If there was no, impact to it, and if it didn't mean that I was then going to become a person who everyone wanted to know this from, sure, I'd like to know where the treasure is.
Okay, so first question.
But
you are a true searcher.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that. I'd like to know kind of the sequence of the clues and being able, it's not in some ways about the spot so much, because it's not like it's a place I ever searched. I have no idea. It's not going to be familiar to me, Yeah. I'd more rather understand, what the clues actually signify and kind of understand how they relate to things that I would have thought or not thought about. So I think I would probably, really care more about understanding the clues than about necessarily the final location. If I was allowed to know something that I was never going to be able to or have to tell somebody else about, I think I'd be more curious about the clues than anything else.
So the clues versus the
nook.
nook.
Those 3 of those for right there, for 3 different ones. All right.
I loved it. That was great. It's a very fascinating question I ask people all the time. All right. Now we have some chess content questions. Forrest often talked about how there were 265 gold coins in the chest. Do you have any idea? I mean, I'm guessing you didn't go 1, 2, right? You only had an hour with the chest, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't count out the full number exactly. I think I did. I counted out the double eagles and the single eagles. I think there was like 45 of the double eagles. I think that's in the book. So I definitely did count out how many of those there were. And I made a bunch of stacks of those. I think in one of the pictures that was on Twitter, I think you can see the stacks I made.
Yes.
And a lot of the coins were very small, and so I was just I was really just trying to see, like, where are these from? What is the vintage of these? Are they like ancient Roman coins? They were not.
How did you know the coins so well? In your book, you were like, oh, this is from the blah, blah, blah Empire, Ottoman Empire.
Yes,
I'm like, how did he know?
Well, I mean, I could see who the people on it were, I mean, you could see, I don't know.
It was impressive.
I know a lot of history stuff. So like to know, okay, I know who, the Romanov emperor is. I'm going to know who, Franz Joseph is. Like, these are just, you could see the names of them on the things and you could figure out from the language what country it was from. So, it wasn't like, there was no secret sauce there. It's just, the people's names. You could see it's 1920. It's okay. It's going to be from this place.
So you don't need a degree in archaeology to have known.
Exactly. It says, like Imperius Austro-Hungary or something. Like, I don't remember exactly, but you were able to tell from most of them where they were from, generally speaking. There were actually a lot more Canadian coins than I expected. A lot more Mexican coins. From different stages of, what I guess would be the various versions of the Mexican Empire turning into Mexico. There were. I don't think there weren't like old Spanish doubloons or anything like that, which I kind of thought there might be. I thought there was going to be.
It would be very treasure-like.
Yeah, right. I in my mind I was envisioning that, but they were. I'm pretty sure that all the coins were from the last 200 years.
Interesting.
I'd have to really go through that again.
Is there any way, like from your pictures, you'd be able to tell how many coins there were?
I mean, that would be really hard because these things were
that answers the question.
You have to like slice each stack, and some of these coins were very small.
So the
I think
reason
you could
people
probably get a ballpark I think you could probably
Okay.
ballpark it, but to say exactly, I think would be pretty difficult.
The reason people are asking is because 265 played a role in a lot of people's potential theories.
Right.
I call it
Yeah, no,
theories,
I
solution
can't
solves.
help in that way to that extent. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. Also, there was a quote in your book where on page 158, Forrest said, let's see here, a couple of things made of silver and gold that no one had previously seen. Could you tell what those were in the chest?
Made of silver and gold, did he say?
Yeah, that was page. I'll read it for you so it's more.
Yeah,
And I know, no worries
silver
because
and gold
it's a
part.
big book. So,
Yeah.
okay. So Forrest says, "Oh yeah, can't."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. I thought we were talking about a different quote when he was talking. I thought you were talking about the one with "There's something in there." All right, no, I know. Yes, I got you now. No, I mean, look, honestly, maybe it was those like thimble things that we, were talked about the other night.
Those thimble things were cool looking,
Yeah,
whatever
they
the heck
were.
those
And it
were.
was funny that, neither Jack nor I nor Forrest had like
know.
any idea what they were.
Like,
you
I
know
don't know.
I mean, honestly, most of the things in there were, I think, things that you expected to be in there.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
there were, again, a few
Yeah.
other things, but there were
I
not a
liked
lot
what-
of items that were really out of left field.
Yeah, and I
It's funny
liked
'cause,
what you
when
said.
when I was going through it, I didn't know what to expect in that regard. And I was thinking, okay, maybe there is, secret stuff deep in here. And I, for the most part, didn't really see that. I think the number of mirrors was different than I think what I had been expecting.
Right,
Cynthia
Forrest
probably knows
said-
that a little better than I do in terms of, were there supposed to be
Yes.
2 mirrors or 3 mirrors, Cynthia, right?
I'm not sure, but I
Looks
just
like
know from
two.
your book what was there.
Yeah. I thought there were supposed to be maybe 2 mirrors. I don't know. Maybe that's like whatever. But there were
I
definitely
think you're
3,
right,
so.
Dan.
Yeah, there were definitely 3.
Yeah.
So I think, at least in my mind, it was like, or so. By the way, I
Yeah.
actually did go. Somebody asked me the other night about scissors, and I couldn't
The
remember. if I'd seen the
scissors, yes!
Right. And honestly, I went through the pictures that I have of the chest, and the scissors were not there. So because I was like,
Interesting.
wait, I don't remember seeing the scissors. But so
The
when I looked
rusty
through the
scissors.
pictures, I don't remember seeing them, and in none of the pictures did I see them. So I think that the scissors, I guess, between the time that it was dealt with and the time I got there, I'm pretty sure the scissors, I guess, were taken out or something. So I don't really know what happened to them.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if somebody thought, oh, these are just crap. And they just
Yeah,
like-
I don't know.
It's, yeah, I guess everyone's called, whatever the controversy is, right? They call it blank gate. So we'll call it scissor gate.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I went through the pictures just to look at them and be like, were there scissors there? Because I don't remember seeing them, and I didn't see them in any of the pictures. So
The
that doesn't mean,
scissors.
right. That doesn't mean that maybe I just didn't take a picture of them or something, but I would think that means they weren't there. I don't remember seeing them.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll ask Jack if he has any idea if someone might have taken them out thinking they were just trash or something. Because, yeah, all of us, when we saw the scissors, were like, why are there scissors in there? A lot of people contemplated that Forrest had cut his hair to put in the chest with those scissors and maybe just threw it in with the chest. But who knows? Okay. All right. Moving on from the chest. And Cynthia will be back. She's having internet issues.
Oh, bye, Cynthia.
I know. She's like the life of the party. All right. So what do you think Jack meant when he said, in quotes, "I don't want to ruin this treasure hunt by saying it was made for an English major, but it's based on a close read of text." Now, I am an illiterate boob. So so I'm asking you if you could interpret that for us a little bit better, because I have no idea what that means.
Okay. I mean, I think, and this is my interpretation, this is not based on, me understanding exactly what he didn't tell me what he meant by that when he said that.
Completely clear of Jack. This is
Yeah.
only
my interpretation
Dan's.
of that is that he's basically saying that's less than romantic, in the sense that that's not a fun solution. That's not like a, grand romantic idea. That's not this crazy cool, at Amphill at midnight, the sun shines
The
along Catherine of Aragon's thing or whatever, so
Masquerade.
yes, there you go. Exactly. What I believe Jack was saying by that is, you got to read the text very closely. That's not exciting in some ways to some people, or it might not be.
Not as
But I
romantic.
believe that's what he was saying by that maybe this is not the most exciting answer to this, but this is how I got it, that you read the text closely, you came to understand it, you came to understand Fenn. And it wasn't that much more, and it's more complex than that. Obviously, that doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean you go straight from A to B there, but that, it's based on a close reading of the text. And so I think, again, in terms of what I think he was saying there, I think he was saying, like, I know this may not be so exciting, but,
Okay, interesting. All right, that's helpful. Like I say, I
Right, just what I think.
you would know better than I would. Let's just put it that way. And it's helpful to get another interpretation of it. When I had read that, I'm like, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, I thought I looked at the text really closely, but obviously we did not find it. All right. So next question, have you made any attempt? Oh, before I go to the next question, I wanted to let you know, I know that anytime you're going to need to go, let me know before you need to go, and I'll have one last question and an email from Jack to share.
Oh, very nice. Okay, great.
All right. So have you made any attempt to figure out the solution after corresponding with Jack or Forrest and seeing the additional emails that he has sent to other searchers? Or were you like, I'm done?
Yeah, no, I mean, no, I have not. And you know,
Okay.
it's not just that I'm done. That's not really it. It's that, you know, I do know things that, you know, and I haven't, as you can tell, you know, when you're talking to somebody for a long period of time, you gain interpretations that other
You
people
do.
aren't going to have. And I
Right.
don't want to use that in a way that's going to lead me to the same answer I would have had anyway, you know, which is that where I was not actively trying to find out from Jack because I don't want to know, because then that puts me in a weird position.
I know the
And so-
feeling, yes.
Yeah. And so, you know, to then try to then turn around and go solve that myself would effectively be the same result. It doesn't mean I'm not curious, but I don't think that really is what I
You're
want to do.
taking an ethical
You know?
stance and a safety
Yeah,
stance.
right, exactly. You know,
And
he shared information with me on the idea that, you know, I'm not going, that's not what I'm doing with it. You know, I'm
Yes.
here to kind of be a cipher in some ways, but not to decipher. That was good. But you know, so I mean, it's
Dan.
I don't think that's really what I was supposed to be doing in that sense. And you know, so not that I have any like great ideas in my head anyway. It's not like, you know, we were talking and I was like, oh, this must mean, you know, Bob's Creek in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if there's a Bob's Creek, FYI. Okay. I have
Oh my
no
God,
idea
someone's
if
going
there's
to
a Bob's
email
Creek.
me
That
with a
doesn't
Bob's
mean
Creek.
anything.
Yes.
Could've said
Thank you,
Fred's
Bob's Creek.
Anyway.
You
no,
are so
I mean,
familiar with what this is like. I am so impressed.
So no, I mean, so I just, you know, again, it doesn't mean I'm not curious, but I don't want to put myself in any weird situations or violate any trusts by doing that, you know?
I agree. I think that's a wonderful ethical stance. And reading, that's the one thing when I was going through your book, I was like, I like this guy. Some of the things you went through ethically when you were in different positions, I'm like, I get that.
Yeah, well, you know, and
get
that's
that.
what we were talking about earlier. You know, look, you're gonna. It's not a perfect process to do the kind of thing I was trying to do here. You know, you're gonna run into tricky parts. It's by its very nature, it's not cut and dry. It's not clean. You know, so you have to try to kind of do it as best you can. Again, there's a part, you know, where I referenced Cynthia in the beginning of the book about how she didn't, you know, actively ever try to talk to Forrest about the treasure.
That's how I was.
Quote unquote, pump him for information or whatever. I never, you know, I took very much away from that. I was like, okay, that's an easy rule number one. Don't ever do that. You know, so. I was like, that's an obvious one, but you know, you're trying to pick up these things as you go along and try to understand, you know, okay, I am going to get to spend a lot of time with this guy. I am kind of playing searcher here and really trying to feel it and be it. But, you know, at the same time, I do have to kind of set some limits and try to do this the right way. So, you know,
yes. Yeah. And I love the way you approach that. You talk about that very earnestly in the book. And I loved that. All right. Next question. Right. So, this is a question definitely for the searchers out there. The people who are still crazy enough looking for the nook. I might be one of them. So in the book, the nook is described a little bit. It was a little confusing though. I don't know if you would mind kind of trying to clarify what the nook looked like or whatever it was without crossing that line that you were talking about, but just kind of clarify what you said in the book.
Well, I mean,
or if you want me to read what was in the book.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, to my understanding of it, and that's imperfect, you know, let's be very clear. I've never laid eyes on this thing. So, you know, I'm, you know, playing a game of telephone here, but, so that it was a depression in the ground, you know, not such that there were areas that were a little higher, you know, around it and it could fit in them to some extent. And that over a long period of time, 10 years, you know, a lot of dirt and debris and stuff had come in there and served to effectively cover up, you know, most, if not all of the chest, not to the point where it was capital B buried, but it was certainly lowercase b buried, you know, so,
right. Like he had to remove dirt.
Yes.
To open it.
And it wasn't obvious. You wouldn't just see it walking by. It wasn't like, oh, look, there's a treasure chest on the ground. Obviously, you know, you're not going to see it from distance.
Trip over it.
Right. You know, Right. Yeah. Not that kind of stuff, to my understanding was definitely not going to happen. So yeah, I don't know if that really clarifies, but that's
It's
essentially my
helpful.
understanding of it.
It's helpful because I always envisioned the nook like tucked in somewhere between rocks and stuff, but it seemed a little different. It seemed a little bit more exposed in the book. And so I
Yeah,
was
I
just,
think that is certainly my understanding of it, that it was not certainly something in a rock face or anything
yeah,
like that, that we're talking essentially something that was on the ground, even if that ground was not straight flat ground across.
right,
And
like
that,
uneven ground kind of thing.
yeah, and that then over
Right.
time, the elements did what they were going to do there, and
Yeah.
made it a little bit different.
Exactly how Forrest kind of described it.
Yeah, weird, huh?
Who knew? Okay, all right. Next question. Let's see here. Oh, did Jack let you know what he thought about your book?
Yeah, we talked about it. I think that's essentially between us, but we had a good long conversation about it, and I was happy to hear from him and happy to hear what he thought. And look, Jack, honestly, from the Medium post, Jack is a very good writer. He really is. I picked up on that right away. So, I was happy to hear what he had to say, and that was cool. So yeah, no, we talked about it. It was one of the first things I did once I got the actual real copies of it was send him one. Cynthia, you were very, very soon thereafter. So,
And she was
so
very good.
That was important to me.
It's very good. She wouldn't share.
Yeah, no, and I respect that. And I know that. And yeah, that was very important to me that the people who were, really heavily featured in it, who were so important to the process of creating it, that I made sure to get them copies so they could see it, before it came out and just understand, and I'd talk about it if they wanted. And, I was very happy, Cynthia, when I heard from you, I was thrilled. When I heard from Sasha, I was thrilled, things like that, Beep, when people call me and say like, okay, this was related to my experience correctly, that like made me incredibly happy, So that was very, very cool to get to hear.
That's wonderful. Well, Jack is still talking to you, so that says something.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, Jack, in case you're watching. I did ask Toby if he had any questions for you, and he said he had one. When are you coming back to Santa Fe?
It really is too bad because in like another universe, I almost definitely would be in Santa Fe like this weekend, probably,
Aw.
not the previous weekend, but because I probably would have done like a New York or something, but almost definitely right now. And that stinks. I would love to be in Santa Fe. I would love to do a thing in Santa Fe. So, pandemic travel is obviously not the easiest thing, when you're coming from the East Coast.
I know.
And so, look, I think
Coast
the
is
world
a
has to normalize a bit. I would be thrilled if it did in the fall, if that was the kind of thing that was possible. If there's enough interest for something like that, I'd be happy to do it.
There is some conflict about a Fenbury going on in August or a little bit later on, but I will let you know if the Fenbury happens more in September or October.
Got it. Yeah.
Just
Where's
case,
that cited for? Where are they planning on that?
that would be Santa Fe. The problem is with fire danger. So the August 22nd thing, a Desert File. David.
Oh, yes, I actually
love
messaged him
David.
today. Yes.
I know. Oh, and see, I have all my
actually. I owe him a message.
all my books at the ready.
Yes.
There we go.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I read that. I loved that book.
It was wow.
Yeah, no, that was no messing around, man. I really enjoyed this book. I really did.
It was a great book. Preston loved it too. Loved it too.
He did. Yes, he did.
And after we're done talking, I'm going to go ahead and plug, since this is the literary edition of Amy Seeks. I'm going to plug the Authors Guild, which Preston is currently managing and very overwhelmed with. But you are.
Yes, absolutely.
Support your authors.
When we were talking, he said, "Are you a member of the Authors Guild?" I was like, "I don't think I am." He's like, "I'm the president. You got to go join." I was like, "All right." I'm happy to do that. So now I get my Authors Guild emails, and I'm up to date on everything. So
nice. Yes, support authors, especially the ones who are first starting out, and maybe only with 2 books so far.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, so that brings me to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your future with the thrill of the chase? Right? Hoping to meet. Are you hoping to meet Jack someday in the future? Years in the future, even?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to meet Jack in person, just to yes. Anybody who I would like to meet lots of people in person who I haven't had a chance to in this, Jack obviously is very high on that list, if not at the top of that list. But yeah, no, I would love to actually get to meet Jack in person and not just on a, Zoom screen essentially, and get to, sit down and talk about, hey, remember that crazy thing, we did, whatever, that would be a lot of fun. But, it's weird because, you hit the, stop print button on a book like this, and then it just goes out into the world, and, you lose control over it in so many ways. But at the same time, chances are get to, write an epilogue for this probably a year from now. And so, it's not like I'm done in this, I'm certainly very much following what's happening and, trying to make sure that I can relate a next version of, okay, and then this happened kind of thing, so I would think that there's still some reporting to be done. And obviously, look, the story of the chest is not over, and so in that sense, my involvement in it is not over. That doesn't mean I'm going to go, seeking out the spot in the summer or whatever you guys are doing, which I think is very cool, by the way. But that's if that's the case. But that's I don't know if that's my personal jam, but I think that's cool, and I have my job in my mind is just to keep following this and to try to keep the story as up to date as possible for the fact that I still have to do that. And that's, that's my level of responsibility to it, I guess, in my mind.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'll make sure to email you every hour on the hour.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good.
Really joking. Really joking. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here's one more question, and I think we'll open it up to chat at that point. We've actually got a couple, or we've got a super chat and a bunch of Amy Seeks.
Okay.
So did Jack ever give you any indication that he wants to revisit the spot sometime in the future and kind of absorb it more naturally, as not stressed out?
That's not something we ever talked about, so I don't know, actually.
All right, Jack, let me know. No. And then one more with the boots on the grounds questions. I have like a lot more questions, right? But I'm going to hold off on those because I know people in chat want to ask others. Mine are very, I guess, not what the searchers want, more what I want, which is more book and, personal interest.
I'm all about talking book, man. I understand that, I'm on the hot seat here, but I'm very happy to talk book stuff all the time.
Well, so far you've been very sweet to answer so many questions. So boots on the ground experience, how many BOTGs did you personally go on?
Well, I think, if you count the experiences I went on with other people, it's right around 25 days out there, search days in some way, shape, or form. Not all of those were dawn to dusk days.
Very similar to Jack, except in different places.
I think his days were a lot longer than mine, and frankly, a lot more serious,
Yeah.
And again, a lot of those are days where, like I'm tagging along with other people and not doing my own searches, so I was doing reporting essentially, some of which are in the book, not all. It was important to me. Like, I didn't want the book to be like, let's do this guy wandering around the wilderness for, however many days. I think that would just be boring as hell. So, I tried to really just capture the ones that were actually meaningful. And most of those were with other people. And then, like, when Jay and I would keep doing, like, there was only so many of ours that were really good, that were interesting in any way, like there's the first ones were idiots. There's close? Yellowstone. What's that?
You mean that were close? Interesting?
No,
what do you mean by interesting?
They were compelling. I mean, nothing was close. Like, nothing was close. We were never close. But
I don't know for sure.
You're right. I don't, but I don't think we were. I certainly don't think we were. I don't think we were. I mean, the thing was in Wyoming, and a lot of our stuff was not in Wyoming, so we couldn't have been close when we were in New Mexico.
That's true.
In the
book, one search is Wyoming.
Divide, I wasn't close. That's in Colorado. So, that doesn't, we were driving around outside, Yellowstone in Wyoming. I mean, not in Montana.
Montana, I did that.
Close, by definition, then we're in the wrong state, So,
yes.
No, so it was not about being close in my mind at all. Just, is this something that is going to tell people something in the book? Is this useful? Is this, does this
part of the
reveal
narrative
something about the chase or about the characters or about the people or, occasionally about me and my searching? But again, my searching was only useful in my mind in what it tells the larger world about the search, Again, I really didn't want the book to be like, this guy then wandered around here. This guy went wandered around here. It was like, we tried a bunch of things, but if we're just like in this random place, then this sucks. Then what you want to read that? I don't want to read that, and you only have a limited amount of space. So
I have someone who's going to laugh at you saying that.
Okay. But that was really very important to me, was to not focus too much on like my searches and that, because I thought that was only so interesting, and I didn't want the book to be that. And I wanted the book to be reflective of the larger whole and just have the understanding that I'm using this as an avenue in, so that's the idea there.
That was very well said. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to scroll through here. And while I'm looking at the chat questions, I'll ask you one more question that you can answer while I'm going through the chat. And it is, have you ever thought about who would play some of the main characters in your book if it went to a movie?
Well, look, there's a pretty easy one for me, and if people aren't
Yeah.
getting that, they're missing something. But if you haven't figured out that like Jason Biggs should play me in any movie that would be ever of me, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, like I you know, in like the late 90s and early 2000s, like I would go to bars and people would be like, "Are you Jason Biggs?" And of course my friends would be like, "Yes, he is, totally, get him drinks." And like it would work. It was shocking.
It did?
Not that we would really try to do that, but like it was incredible how many people, because it was like before smartphones, you know, nobody was like looking anything up, you know, and so, you know, if my idiot buddy would be like, yeah, but don't tell anybody, they'd be like, "Oh my God, it's Jason Biggs." And I'm like, "I'm not Jason Biggs." But you know, it's kind of funny how these things take on a life of their own. So yeah, no, I've been, you know, that one's been out there for, you know, 20 plus years now. And so if that's not it, then I don't know what to do with that. So yeah, so that one, and in an interview once I got asked that question for the last book.
Oh, you did?
And since Beep was in that book too, somebody came up with a very good one for him, and that was Michael Cera. So who I think is he's a pretty good Beep stand-in. I think that would work very well. I think he'd be a good one for that character. So.
I don't know who that one is, but I'm totally looking it up later.
Yeah, you can look him up. You'll figure it out. He was in Arrested Development, a lot of other things.
Oh, okay, all right. And what
good,
about
yeah.
like Forrest or Cynthia or?
You know, I haven't gotten that far. I mean, you know, you asked me the ones that I had like literally already in my brain.
I
So
thought about yes.
I will.
That'll
I can
be.
think on those.
You're
I mean,
welcome to come back
Forrest,
anytime.
Robert Duvall is a pretty easy one for Forrest, I think.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I think that comes in there pretty well. You know, he's got the same kind of gravitas. You know, the age is pretty similar, relatively speaking. You know, not a ton of hair left, and you know, I think that works pretty well. I'll have to think on Cynthia.
Not a ton of hair left.
Yeah, that's look, high 80s. My God,
true.
if I'm doing that well in my 80s, I will be thrilled.
I know, right? He blew my mind. Okay, so here's some great chat answers.
Okay.
Hooli actually says, Amy Seeks, I sent Jack a link to the thimbles. I believe they are cord weights for apparel ties.
Oh,
Very
okay.
cool. Mary Green, Amy Seeks, wonder if just the book, text, or book and poem. Sorry, Mary Green, that's too far back. I don't know what you're talking about. Faith Hunter, for Dan, is there any information that you would have liked to include it in the book that Jack or Forrest did not allow? Yes or no? Can you share it in general terms? I'll just say it's no.
No, I mean,
But I'll let Dan answer.
No, it's fine. I mean, you know, I don't remember for Forrest particularly if there was anything that he was like, you know, every time that he'd be like, "Oh, don't say that," you know. But I mean, I don't think there was anything particularly would have, you know, that I was like, okay, I can't, that he demanded I not put in or anything like that. There's nothing that would be off the top of my head for that for sure. You know, with Jack, you know, as I've said, there's a lot of things I asked him that, you know, he either, you know, was not willing to answer, which I understand, you know,
Yes.
or, you know, we discussed in an off the record context. And so, you know, I mean, is there things I'd like to have in the book that aren't in there? Yeah, I guess, sure. Absolutely. You know, you'd like to have more information than not, but, you know, that's how this works. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess.
So yes, but nothing groundbreaking.
Yeah, just not, you know, it's not something I'm thinking about really.
And here's another question, but I don't understand because this is Dan and not Jack, just so you guys know. Has any searcher emailed Jack the correct solve or location?
I have no idea.
There you go. Let's see here. Has any searcher... Oh, no, same question again. Scrolling down. Chasing Indy! Did the fake Blaze and real Blaze share any similarities? And if so, how would it relate to the book?
Since I don't know what the fake Blaze was and I don't know what the real Blaze was, I don't know.
There you go, Chasing Indy. Now you don't have to say that one on your show. But good question. Tina Panatoli. Oh, $20. Thank you for the super chat. Dan, great writing.
Thank you.
In The Thrill of the Chase, the only time Fenn was looking up was in the last illustration, The Bird and the Moon. I believe that was the Blaze. What do you think the Blaze was?
Oh, God. First of all, I like that. I have no idea if that has any, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what the Blaze was. I'm sorry that's unsatisfying. And, you know, saying I don't know is not fun for anybody, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have a good idea. I got nothing.
So do you know?
No, I don't know. I do not know.
Oh,
I mean,
I was really joking. I'm sorry. I was
know you're
really
making a joke. I
joking.
get it. but I really actually don't know what the blaze is. And, even in my mind,
Well,
there are
I
a
know
few
Jack well
thoughts, but
enough.
I don't really want to throw them out there, and I'm pretty sure they're not right anyway.
And I
So.
know Jack well enough through emails that he's smart enough to not tell anybody what the
Right, that's the
place
thing,
was.
Jack and I, we talked for a long time on things, but like that doesn't, he's very, very, very good at not saying what he doesn't want to say, and
Well, you'd have to be if you found the chest, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you have to be. He is, and I
Yes.
respect that, and that's a skill, honestly. And so that's if he doesn't want me to know it, I don't know it, and that's fine. I accept and understand that.
Well, and there's that whole part too of do I want to know? Because then
Right,
people,
and that
it's
is
like
another calculus, absolutely.
then I'm someone who knows, and oh God, I'm someone who knows.
That's another calculus, absolutely, no question.
All right, so next up, Davio22. And if I missed your question, I apologize. I'm kind of scrolling through fast. Can you ask Dan what he thinks of the phenomenon of people still thinking the chest is out there to find?
Look, I saw the thing on a table. It's like it wasn't out there.
Should we share that picture?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
All
we
right,
can go over the pictures if you want, for sure.
Yeah, let's see here.
That's a useful thing to do. No, I mean, in terms of what I think about that phenomenon, it's tough because like I've known that was the case for like almost 6 months now,
Yeah.
and so it's tough because when your own head, I've been aware of certain things since like October. That some of those things have only become more clear to the larger body in last few weeks, kind of stuff, et cetera. So or at different times, depending on things Jack has said, et cetera. So even if there's things that I knew a long time ago, then I have to remember that not everybody else has been thinking that way for a long time. So it's tricky. I fully understand that, but no, I mean, look, the chest is not out there. It's not out there anymore.
There you go. I was pretty convinced when I saw the original pictures. I'm just like, yep, it's over.
Yeah.
Has any searcher emailed Jack? Oh, no. Okay, sorry, I must scroll up. Hooli, $5. Thanks, Hooli. Dan, what made you pick the map in your book? Who created it? Please and thank you.
That's fun. That's a great question. Thank
All right.
you. I really like that one. Okay, so I'll just pull this out, for any of you crazy people who have not bought the book, what are you doing? But no, so there is a map in front. And so there is it. So basically I just tried to take areas that were important to spots that are in the narrative. They are places that I visit in the book, essentially. Not necessarily places that are important to the overall chase itself, but they're places that would show up in the narrative. So like, for instance, like Grand Junction is not terribly important to the Fenn chase, but it's, where I went and talked to Mitzi Wallace. It's where Paris Wallace is from. There is, a scene effectively that takes place there when I went there to sit down with her there. So, that was important to me and that was important to the place. So, so these are the things that are in the map are things that matter to, there are points in the story, essentially, not necessarily points in the thrill of the chase or things like that. They're points that appear in this book. And so in terms of how it created, I just drew like essentially a sketch of this and kind of just.
You drew a sketch of it.
Yeah. I drew a crappier version of this and broke out a thing and broke out the top right and broke out the bottom left. And I was like, all right, here's kind of what I want it to look like. Can somebody who does a good job of this go do this for me? And so the publisher found somebody and I had to pay them a not gazillion-dollar sum of money. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that comes out of my pocket. That's fine.
Ouch.
And so, so then I paid for that and they did a very nice job. And so then the map appeared in the book. And so that's kind of where we are.
There you go, Hooli.
But yes, thank you. That's not one I've been asked before. And I'm happy to answer that.
I think she had asked that before, but it didn't get to it on the last interview. So there you go, Hooli. And let's see, I'm going to ask a few more questions from my list here. The light and the dark of the front part of your cover, did you choose how that was going to be laid out? And did it have any metaphorical significance?
I did not choose it. That was done by a designer, but I really liked it. They kind of presented me. Initially they presented me with a different cover, which has been on a few places which I guess hadn't gotten updated or something. It was like very blue sky with like a coin in the middle against the mountains. And it was like, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I liked it. But then they went back and they actually did it again. And they were like, we like this cover better. And I was like, oh, I like that cover too. So, it's funny. So having not been an author before, let's say 2015, I didn't know how so many things in the book creation process work. And, one thing I definitely didn't understand, and understand a lot better now, is that the author doesn't do everything. The author doesn't have say over everything. The author is not the one who like did this thing or that thing or this thing. It's a lot of time it's like the publisher says, here, we're doing this. Is that okay? And you're like, yeah, okay, thank you. So that kind of stuff actually happens a lot on a lot of things. And so, they sent me this, and like, they said, I was like, oh, that kind of speaks to like the duality of the chase, and it's not all good, it's not all bad, it's black and white. There are a lot of not factions. There's like a lot of competing thoughts here. There's a lot of concepts to go in. It's so I actually thought it was very cool. I thought it was like a very cool cover. I was very into it when I saw it. I did not create it. I didn't even, I didn't come up with the X in the middle. Actually, that was my editor.
I love that.
Yeah, I actually thought that was kind of cool too, but I didn't think of that. That was not in the original designer's design. That was added by like my editor, who's a very smart guy, who was like, I think this is cool, and the fact that it like kind of sits in the mountains here is also good. I was like, okay, great. So no, again, you'd be surprised how little, or apparently not surprised I just said it, but how little input I had in that, although I think they did a very good job.
I think so too. The X is a really fun touch.
Yeah.
Because it's so classic in the hunt. Okay.
Yeah, totally.
What are you hoping that readers take away? So I'll give you my quick opinion.
Okay.
This was so approachable. It was approachable, and it led me through. I actually ended up kind of crying a little bit at the end, because it led me through the same journey that I had kind of tried to push away because it hurt so much, that it had ended and all this other kind of stuff. And it led me through the same journey I had, and the ups and downs. And one of my favorite quotes, and let's see if I can, here we go. One of my favorite parts is when you guys were around the fire hole, I believe. Mm-hmm. And you tell Beep not to be like the
yelling at him.
Oh my God. But you go, it's not some effing conspiracy against you. It's not all about you. Yeah. We had it wrong, right? I'm like, that was beautiful.
Yeah, honestly, so in the audiobook, that's like my Oscar moment.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
I listened to the audio.
Oh, you did? Okay, that was the part I remember. Because it's funny, because like, these, as Cynthia knows, I was essentially recording everything. So, I went back over these things, and like, these are everything in this book is the exact quotes. And so I'm able to go back and listen to them. And, then when I was reading them again myself for the purposes of recording the audiobook, I know what everybody sounds like. I know what all these words came out like for real, So I basically didn't give those the exact inflection, or I tried to, that are in my head, or that, are in my ear from going back over it and remembering these things. And so, it's all, it's easy in one sense to do that, because that's what it sounded like the first time, but I definitely that was definitely my Al Pacino thing, where I was like, when I'm reading that part for the audio book, I was just like getting ramped up. I was getting ready to go. That was my favorite part of doing the audiobook, like absolutely 100%. So at the audiobook Oscars, I want them to play that clip. That's my goal.
All right, there you are recording.
Oh yes, that's my closet. That is in fact my recording studio closet. You are right. So that's portrait mode, by the way. Have you discovered portrait mode on the iPhone? It's awesome. It makes you look so much better. So anyone who hasn't found that yet, I highly recommend it. It does something with the coloring and the lighting. It makes you look cool.
I have that on my Android, and I used it with Cynthia on our hike, and Cynthia goes, "My God,
right?
I look so good."
It's excellent. So, okay, but hold on. But you actually a minute ago asked a really good question, and it's one I actually want to answer and make sure I answer, because I think it speaks to, I appreciate it as a question, and I really want to answer correctly, because it, yes, I want to say that. Okay, I hope that people get a bunch of different things out of it. I do hope it is approachable, as you said, and that it is easy to read. I like that. I don't want to be, heavy prose. That's fine. But that's just, one little thing. What I really care about is that it captures the experience of what it is like to be a hunter, that it tells people, who are outside this thing, that to people who are in it, it accurately represents roughly what they were feeling. Obviously not apply to everybody, but that, this was a relatable experience. And then that explains that to people who were not in this, and helps them to understand what this was, and that, 10, 15, 20 years from now, somebody can go back and say, okay, this is what this thing was. This is why these people did this. This is what they were feeling. This is what, drew them in about it and kept them in. Here's what they felt was good about it. Here's what they felt was bad about it. That those experiences can be accurately, to some degree, represented, hopefully because of this, in kind of a one-stop shopping way, that you can go to this and say, okay, here's what happened in this thing. Here's what happened in this chase and the why of it and all that. And then also that people then understand that this was a real treasure hunt, that this, was not some, old man's little flight of fancy, and that's part of why I did those history chapters, some of which I do think ran a little long, and that's one thing I regret about the book.
Yeah, but they were great establishing chapters.
Yes, they are. And established chapters is a good way to say that, by the way. But I still think I let the modern treasure hunting chapter run about 1,500 words too long, and I regret that. That's my fault. Anyway, but the idea there is to try to place this in the larger context of treasure hunting. That this is not something separate from those Spanish galleon hunts and from Coronado. This is, the next evolution and iteration of that much, much, much longer story that, connects to Oak Island and the Lost Dutchman mine and, the Atocha and all these things. That this is all part of the same spectrum, that Masquerade is on that spectrum, this is on that spectrum, that these are all part of the same thing. And so to kind of establish this within the larger history and, to make people hopefully see that, at least I see it that way. And that, I think that there is a very good argument to be made for that. And hopefully that, moves forward like that. And that, those things, because I actually really do think of this as a history book in so many ways, like some people call this like a memoir, and I'm like, this is not a memoir. I happen to be in it, but it's only that in just the sense of if I can use my experience as an avenue in, both as reporter and as subject, to give the experiences of everybody else. Cynthia is much more important to this book than I am, in my opinion. It's about getting her feelings and being, I am a vessel for expressing those. It's not about my feelings so much in my mind, although those, do in certain areas end up being important. But, just trying to understand, why, try to give some context to why did Forrest do this? Why are people so involved in this? Why did it take so much, to take so many people in? What matters about it? What's good about it? What's not so good about it? What happened with the people who died? What that means? All of it. Just try to tell the story. That was just the whole point. I just wanted this to be the story of this treasure hunt, so that, again, 20 years from now, somebody can go back and say, okay, I get it now, and that's really what I wanted most out of it. So.
And you successfully did that. I mean, I know that you say the chapters on Masquerade and stuff and all those treasure hunts ran long, but for someone unfamiliar with the genre, that is so important for them to understand the concept. Mel Fisher, all of those people, I think you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I very much appreciate that. It does mean a lot. I thank you very much.
Well, I mean it. I don't BS. So there's another super chat question from Chasing Indy. She says, can you ask Dan what he thought Jack meant when he mentioned the structure of the poem?
I don't think I have a good answer for. I don't want to waste your super chat here, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think I have a good answer for this at all. I just don't have. I mean, I think
that's okay.
No, I'm gonna try to bumble my way to something, but
okay.
I don't have a really good answer for you because I mean, in one sense, I guess it seems kind of somewhat obvious to me that the structure of the poem matters. I guess because he's talked about it as this is Fenn's journey of going to his spot. So I think that matters to him. But I don't, beyond that, I haven't really thoughts about, I don't think that he was saying something about there's structural things in the, I don't know. I got nothing. I mean, again, I do not want to waste your super chat. I feel bad. That is money spent of some denomination, I am sure. And I am not trying to,
it was only $500. Don't worry. No.
No,
please, I'm joking. Okay.
No, I don't. In that sense, I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak for him there.
There you go. All right, Chasing it, but it's an answer which she wanted, yes. So she got. All right, let's see here. Smell the sunshine, Matt DeMoss.
Yes.
Yes, he says.
That's someone who I want to meet. By the way, that is somebody who said, who I would like to actually meet in person in this. Well, I thought Matt's videos are fan-freaking-tastic. I really did. I think that comes across in the book pretty clearly. But I thought Matt's stuff was just fantastic and is really just A+. Just I'm a big fan.
All right, if you're good to me, I'll set up an interview.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a joke, of course. Matt would love to meet you as well. Okay, so Matt says, Amy Siegs, let's hear from both guests about the day, Dan thought he was being set up. Oh, I do love this one. Okay, I actually have the quote here, page 271.
Okay.
Dan wonders if there really is a conspiracy. And in quotes, wait, was that how they wanted to co-opt me? I'm, of course, quoting. And he says, the day he thought he might be being set up by Cynthia, she was going to find the chest with him as a witness.
Yes, yes,
Right,
yes. No, I would
Cynthia
actually love
and
to. I
Dan?
would love to talk to Cynthia about it. I mean, Cynthia and I have talked about this a little already, but I would, yeah, take Cynthia off mute here. Come on. And
Oh, you're on mute, Cynthia? What are you doing on mute?
Yeah. So
She's too calm and quiet. She needs a drink.
yeah, no. So I mean, look, you know, it's funny, and then that whole experience is something where I think, you know, speaks to how easily you can get kind of caught up in some of just the
Yes.
you know, the weirder elements of this, you know. And again, to like rational me, that seemed crazy and seems crazy, and I didn't really think much about it until we were kind of in the moment. And then there was that, you know, that one part where, you know, where she's like, I want something I want to show you, and I was like, all right, I'll start to think about this here. And then, you know, when you're out there, then you start, it's the same thing as when you think you're going to find the chest that's over the next hill. You're like, wait, what's the deeper meaning here? You know, and you start to kind of get wrapped up in it. And, you know, look, I don't feel particularly great about the fact that I did that.
You
I'm
went
not gonna
there.
lie, I don't think that was my finest hour. I really don't, you know, I mean, like, and, you know, Cynthia's awesome. And I feel kind of like an ass that I even thought that, but I did. And again, I wasn't like, this is definitely going to happen, but I certainly entertained it. And, you know, it's weird because in this thing, you almost never know. And
Exactly.
You know,
Sometimes the
Yeah.
conspiracies are true.
yes.
It's the
Um,
masquerade.
Yes, exactly. I know. And that's, you know, the reality is a lot of treasure hunts have ended in weird and sketchy ways. There's no question about it. You know, it's not like this stuff is for people to be wary is not out of left field. I think that is certainly a fair statement. But yes, no, look, honestly, I mean,
So you should give yourself a pass.
I don't know about that, but you know, it's definitely not my finest hour. I think that is something I'm certainly happy to say. But you know, look, I mean, you know, I would love to hear what Cynthia has to say about it as well. So sorry, Cynthia.
Cynthia, let us hear.
Well, I obviously, I'm not muted anymore, right?
You're right. We can hear you.
I obviously had no idea that
Yeah.
this shit was going through Dan's head, but had I known, I would have set you up really good. I would have taken my imitation chest a day ahead of time when I took you to Boulder's Hot Springs.
Yeah,
I was running around up in the boulders looking in all the nooks. Oh my God. You're lucky I didn't know because
Oh my God, I really am. I would have like lost my mind. I would have absolutely
and
like,
I would have recorded it and this would have been on YouTube years ago.
oh my God, that would have been pretty amazing. So, all right, now I feel like we actually kind of missed an opportunity for some great theater. So I would have been happy to be the patsy for that. You know, now we need to go out and recreate that moment. We need to go back out to Yellowstone and do that.
Yeah.
I'll plant the lid of the chest for both of you. You'll have
There you
no
go.
idea.
Yeah, seriously. But no, look, I mean, honestly, like my favorite parts of the whole book are those two chapters where in Yellowstone, you know, out with Cynthia and out with Jay and all that. Those are the experiences to me that stand out the most in my mind, and the ones that, you know, in retrospect, I enjoyed the most, and that, you know, are the ones that loom the largest to me. So, you know, being out with Cynthia on those days was super fun. It really was, you know, getting to go around, you know, West Yellowstone and all that kind of stuff was just a blast. And, you know, all that specific little part aside, you know, it was cool to be able to go searching in multiple states with her and to sit in so much traffic with her.
Oh my goodness,
I
the
think what is
traffic
really
through
underrated in
Yellowstone.
this book is how long the traffic jam we sat in it was. That it only gets like a one-line mention, but my God, that was the worst traffic I think I have ever been in my entire life.
And you live on the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh no, you guys don't mess around in New Mexico, man. That was hardcore. It was like 5 hours.
And I was disappointed, Dan, that you left out that on the way to the search area when we were stopped at the traffic light in Santa Fe, the woman that
Oh, the
pulled
woman who fought
out
each other.
the car door and beat the shit out of her there.
That was
No.
insane.
No.
And you left it out, but it's like, yeah, I can see.
I didn't have a spot for it. We would. Like, there's a ton of things in the book like that where like there are a ton of things where if I could have found a spot for it, but then you end up having to burn like 500 words, putting yourself in the context to deliver like a one little line like thing like that. And there's a ton of examples of those. But that you're exactly right. That was nuts. And yeah, so like we're sitting at this traffic light, I think by like a Burger King or something. I don't remember what's at that intersection right before you get on that thing that takes you to the highway near where the opera is. Cynthia, you obviously know this area much better than I do. And like these two women just pull, like one pulls the other out of a car and they just start kicking the shit out of each other while we're walking. And it's like, what the hell? And Cynthia's like, yeah, this is my state. You know? I was like, I have not seen that before. Oh my God.
Poor New Mexico. That's not a good sign for New Mexico.
That was hardcore, man.
And what was so shocking, so there was a guy that was just jogging or walking there. And I rolled my window down and I said, can you call 911? And he said, no, I don't have a phone. And he just did not care, kept on walking. No one cared.
It was
like,
crazy.
This is typical New Mexico. People beating the crap out of each other and everybody just walks on by.
It was exactly.
They obviously, these two women obviously knew each other. I mean, I don't know what was going on.
I would hope so. If you're beating someone up, that you did know them in some fashion.
It wasn't some random attack.
Right. It wasn't like a straight road rage incident. Right. It was like something. It was something very weird, but.
Honestly, so there's a quick question in chat about a sequel to this book, but I know you answered that before as kind of a no.
I mean, there would have to be enough to fill another 300 and something pages. And I would be surprised if, you know, from my point of view, I could create that much, you know, copy.
Dan, I'm going to write my own behind the scenes and the game part of that case. And
behind Chasing the Thrill?
I'm going to bring my rough draft to you and let you write it.
You'll be the ghostwriter.
I'm in. All right, Cynthia, whatever you need, man. Don't you worry. So
Cynthia, you have my secrets. You have my secrets. You cannot go to Dan with my secrets.
Oh, God.
I have a lot of secrets, and I will gladly accept money from anyone that doesn't want me to share them.
Well, I'm going to be
by the
broke.
way, so I do have to get back to work fairly soon. So like my day job works. So there's actually like stories waiting for me to edit. So I do have to get back to this reasonably soon. So, you know, I want to give like a small warning there. So I don't want to like run off, you know?
Yes. So I'll answer a couple more questions in chat. Make sure there's no more super chats. Oh, there's one more super chat. Chasing Indy. What was the last thing
good job with the last one.
So there we go. What was the last thing Forrest said to you? And who did you sign with? Have you signed with any documentary people?
Okay, wait, what was give me the first question again?
Sorry. I'm like, he's got to go. He's got to go.
No, it's okay. Give me the first question again.
So, shoot, what was it? Okay, Chasing Indy, sorry. What was the last thing Forrest said to you?
Oh, I mean, it was probably goodbye. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't like, you know, he didn't know he was going to die, and I didn't know he was going to die. So I don't think it was like anything of any great significance in that sense. You know, I can't say I remember, honestly. You know, it was some version of, you know, all right, that was great, Forrest, good to see you, you know, in terms of the last thing we would have communicated about personally. You know, I keep blurring these. I'm sorry. I am just like, I'm like a slot machine here for your money. But you know, I don't think there's nothing memorable that I can think of. You know, in terms of the last thing he said to me, I don't have anything for that.
Got it. And have you signed with any documentarians who are making any movies or anything?
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to announce that specifically, but yes, I am under contract with somebody for a version of that. Yes.
Okay, there you go. And he's gonna and no, I was gonna make a joke again, and I know that's dangerous, so I'm shutting my yap. Okay, so should I go ahead and ask the last question and then show the Jack email?
I guess I'm a little scared, but okay.
No, it's no big deal. It's just a simple last question. If you had, it's very simple. It's like the first question. If you could ask Forrest 3 questions. And he had to answer honestly, and nobody, and I'm adding this for you, and nobody would know that you could know these things. What would those 3 questions be for Forrest?
Okay, give me a few seconds to think about that, because I want to.
Okay, take your time. I'm going to share. I'm going to screen share. See if I can find it. A really fun picture of you getting the books in the mail.
Oh yes, yeah, that was cool. That was a nice moment, because you know, you got to have my kids around and stuff, and like actually see, yeah, you know, that's like I'm thinking about this thing right now, but that is a cool moment when like books you wrote show up at your door, you know, and it's like, so whoa, friendly. This thing is real, you know, it's not just some like figment of my imagination that I spent 4 years like hammering away at, and it becomes real in a big hurry. So that is a very cool moment. You know, I cannot say otherwise. So
Congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for all the good book questions too. So let's see. I mean, you know, from Forrest, I would like to know, you know, so I'll try to answer a couple different things. You did say 3. So, you know,
You don't have to do 3. It's okay. You don't have to do 3.
But, you know, there are different things I would like to know from Forrest.
Okay.
You know, I mean, so the easy one I'll get out of the way. It's the same obvious thing, but it's real. You know, I want to know, well, really why this place meant so much to him. You know, what was it that mattered to him about it, that, you know, it was worth this and was worth wanting to go die there, and what, you know, made it special in his mind. And, you know, that's just not that crazy, but I would like to know that about him and why it mattered to him. I want to know, and Cynthia and I actually sat down, we had a great lunch with him one time where we just talked old war stories and stuff. And he talked about, you know, fighter planes, and it was very cool, actually. I really enjoyed that. And I never really got to talk to him about the, you know, the times when he was, you know, in the jungle, you know, after having gotten shot down. And, you know, he tells the stories very well in his book, but I would honestly want to have him tell it, because you just pick up different things and you can kind of interject yourself at different points, and try to just get it. I just never, you know, I never had that full conversation with him, which I really would have liked to. And that's my own fault for not getting there. Just, you know, you always think you're going to have more time, and in this case didn't have more time at a certain point, unfortunately. So that's one I really want to go over with him. And then things, what else would I really want to know from Forrest if I had the ability? You know, there's some things that they're like in some of the early versions of the chest. There's things that are not in the final version, and some of those things are cool looking.
Yes,
and they look like they would have been awesome in the chest. And like, why did you take some of those things out? They were cool. You know, there were some of those things that like I was hoping to find in there, you know, when I actually got to go through it, and some of that stuff's awesome. And so
it was disappointing when they weren't in there.
Yeah, I totally thought that. So, you know, I would have probably liked to add, you know, why did you take things out? Why did you, you know, when you were curating this thing, why'd you take some of these almost more esoteric items out, some of these really cool items, that I think really would have, I don't know, added almost even a little bit more grandeur to it. Not that it's, you know, lacking in that, but, you know, why, you know, there's a few things, and again, some of those early pictures that just look great. And, you know, why did some of those get taken out? So, yeah.
That's a great question. Cynthia, did Forrest ever mention anything about that to you, about why you took those things out?
No, because, I mean, I wouldn't have known what was in and out.
Right.
No, just from the previous scrapbooks and stuff like that. Like there were gems, and there were, my God, it was it was more Goonies-like.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was, you know, more like, you know, Temple of Doom kind of thing. And yeah.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah. I don't know if that movie's allowed anymore, but that was the first video cassette I ever owned, by the way.
Nice.
I remember getting that in like 1985.
You can't be that old.
I was born in 1979. I'm old enough, I guess. So.
I'm still older. That
doesn't make me not old.
Not something to brag about. Oh yeah. Oh shoot, there is one.
Cynthia's like, shut up, both of you. Not that Cynthia's old.
She's gonna kick us from here to Santa Fe.
And she should.
Hopefully, if we're lucky. There is one last super chat. How many people did he check out that claimed to know where the treasure was?
Oh, I have no idea, but I imagine it's a very large number. I do not know, but I mean, you know, like how many, you know, just me, how many people send me emails saying I know where the treasure is, or I can. The number for Forrest has to be like, you know, just cataclysmically large. So.
Are you starting to get all those same emails?
He had to take them all seriously because, you know, eventually one of them was right. So, you know, I mean, he had to look at them. He had to actually do it. You know, I mean, I don't think he probably read through every solve, but if there was a picture or something, if there was something like, you know, which stuck out to him, I'm sure he had to look at it. You know, how could he not? So
very
I have no idea, but it has to be a very large number.
So you're starting to get the same kind of emails that us YouTubers are getting. I'm guessing.
I mean, I got them as soon as the Outside article ran. But
oh, did you?
Yeah. Which is again why it's, you know, I try to make it clear, like I don't know where it is, and I'm not in the business of validating it for people. I don't have that ability, and I don't want to have that ability. That's not what I see my role in this as, you know. So,
yeah.
For all I know, somebody sent me something was right. I don't know. I just don't know.
All right, I'm going to try and find Jack's email now so I can share that with you.
Okay.
It's in one of the photos, so I have to pull it up. It'll take me just a second. See if I can find the right version. Sorry, I was more prepared, but then I had a gin and tonic. So.
I understand. I haven't had a gin and tonic in a long time.
Oh, they're so pleasant. Nice organic gin, or maybe like a nice Irish gin.
You know, actually, barrel aged gin is really where I have gone with that. You know, I think I like it when it's less like less quinine flavored, essentially. So you're going to get that
less
more
medicinal.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, with the barrel aged, you get a little bit more of the barrel in there. So I think that was where I have. Not that again, I've had one in a while because the pandemic happened, and you know, I couldn't get to my favorite dude who makes those very well. But it's been a long time. But yes, the barrel aged gin, yes.
All right, I think I've got it here. Oh, wait, no. Go to this one. I am so, let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can share this.
Okay.
I am technologically challenged, so bear with me. Okay, so this was my question. I asked Jack, let's see if I can get us out of the way. Was it a kindred spirit type thing of being contacted by a fellow writer that enticed you to respond to Dan's email?
Okay.
And the answer was, I had read some of his stuff before, so you were well established. He convinced me that for better or for worse, dum dum dum, this would probably be a BA or the defining book on the treasure hunt and forest legacy. And I do have to say, after reading the book, I kind of agree.
Okay, well, I mean, that was the goal. You know, that was... You know, I don't know about Forrest legacy per se, but certainly on the treasure hunt, that was my goal.
Why do you think Forrest was so, like, anytime I talked to him about it, anyone else talked to him about it, you bring up legacy and Forrest was like...
Well, because, I mean, right, you know, and obviously that's in the book when I did that, and he, you know, jumped down my throat for that, and I understood that.
It was a common thing.
Yeah, right, and I mean, if you think about it, it makes some sense because, you know, it's like, okay, if you ask him why he's going to do it, and he's saying, these are the reasons I did it, you know, he's not going to say, well, I wanted to, you know, leave my mark on the universe. And, you know, then it's not about the greater good that he did, I think genuinely did want to bring with this chest. You know, I think that, you know, then if it's about his legacy, then it's about him. And while I think there's no way you can say that his treasure hunt wasn't in some ways about him, I mean, that would be a pretty hard thing to say.
Yes.
You know, that's probably not the way he thought about it. You know, he thought about it as, I did this cool thing that I think brought some good into the world, and I believe in it. And, you know, whether we can sit on the sidelines and say, well, there's this reason and this reason and this reason, but, you know, that's probably not what he went into it thinking. You know, I think that ultimately it can become that, but that's not, I don't think he was sitting there thinking, you know, I'm going to live forever through this thing. That wasn't, I don't think, his active thought, even if that is, you know, what eventually comes and who knows. But look, again, I've said this before, but I think, you know, Fenn's reasons are not, there's not one, in my mind, there's not one reason he did this, you know, he did this for a number of reasons. And then, you know, they all work together in terms of why someone would do something like this. It doesn't just, you know, there's a lot of things that go into this, I think, at least. So.
Yeah, and I think you really covered that. So, and I know I keep showing it, but I'm showing it again. Obviously, I marked a lot of pages. There were just so many quotes that I really enjoyed. But some
of the best ones are by our partner here.
Yeah, Cynthia, who is delightfully. She's like, I'm hanging back and not saying anything. I want Dan to talk.
I have a request for Dan. So
what do you got?
When you were doing your Oscar moments, when you were reading the Audible book,
yes.
Let me hear you do in my voice, those stupid bastards.
Have you heard it? Have you heard it yet, or are you just asking?
I have not heard the Audible.
Okay, let me go to that page. I don't remember exactly the page. I haven't seen roughly where in the book it is, but let me go. I worked on my Cynthia voice, and I think it got better as the book went on.
Good.
Honestly. Yes. I think it got better as I kind of got that lilt that's in there better as the book went on.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see, because like I didn't have any. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so like. I think the second half of the recording is actually a lot better than the first half, because I kind of like figured some shit out as I was going through, figured some stuff out as I was going through doing the actual audiobook. And so like, I think like the second half is like, without question, better done than the first half, because I didn't know what I was doing yet in the first half. So like days 1, 2, and 2.5. It's like, it took me a while to kind of get it.
I highly recommend everyone to listen to the audiobook. It is a different book entirely. And when he did Shelley Carney's voice, I busted a gut. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, that's an easy one too, because I've obviously listened to that before, and so you can hear it in your own head. You can kind of do it.
It was good.
Okay, where is that line? Yes.
And I'm surprised I haven't heard from a certain person named Justin who is going to make me ask questions that... Thank you, Justin, for not putting those in Super Chat.
Okay. Well, we're about to live. We're done with Super Chats here, so I'm going to do this voice for Cynthia, then I'm out of here. But
thanks for hanging with us, Dan.
Hold on. No, absolutely. I do want to find this, because that was funny as hell when Cynthia said that. I was like,
I wish I had that marked on the page.
Yep, I was like, that's going in the book.
I also, while you're looking for that, I'll say some of my favorite quotes. Page 14, Fenn's study was a magical place. I never thought about it like that, but it so was. And it was a tour. Yeah. It was like a magical Disney tour where you drank out of Jackie O's bottle and you saw George Washington's stuff. Page 65, describing Shiloh as a Chris Pratt looking man.
Oh, yes.
Page 157, Forrest Fenn, congratulations, now go home. You are under no obligation to bring it to me. About the chest.
Oh, yeah, who knows about that one now? That's interesting, huh?
Right. There's definitely some like, well, what the heck was that? Page 250, Dan tells... oh, wait, that's the one I like. Dan tells Beep not to be like other searchers. It's not some effing conspiracy.
It's not all about, if we can't find it, it doesn't mean it's all about us, you know? So
I love it.
How can I not find this? I feel like I know where this is. I feel like I'm like reading right past it. Where the hell is this?
Okay, I'm gonna go to one more quote. Page 110. Beep likes Cynthia.
Oh yes. Oh man, when he said that,
I laughed out loud when I read.
How could you not?
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
And honestly, I think there's a little bit of a mutual admiration society there, quite frankly. Is there not?
What else, Amy? Do you have that page right there that you can read all the words that he said?
110.
I'm okay with whatever he said. You can read it. I'm good with it.
That's the rest of this show. We're gonna read the quotes we love the most.
Because I just wanted to smother him in kisses after reading that.
Is it okay that I read this?
I would love to read that line in Jay's voice. I would totally do that again.
Okay, page 110. You want to read it?
Line? I almost know exactly what it is.
Oh, it was the searchers, and it was the... Okay, I'll read... Well, do you want to read the 110 page, or should I?
Oh, okay. No, I'll read 110. Because
awesome.
If you have it exactly for me, I'll do it, because I remember him saying it to me, so...
Page 110, about midway down.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, no, absolutely, yes. So, right, okay, so I'll read the line before it. All right. Beep reported that he really enjoyed getting to know Cynthia, and it struck me pretty quickly that he had something of a crush on her, despite the generational age difference. Cynthia might be my favorite old person ever, if only she was straight and 40 years younger. He paused, deep in thought. Or maybe if she just had a daughter or something. Like... That actually is funny, because I actually didn't do it right. The second part didn't kind of pause between the two of them. He was like, if only she was straight and 40 years younger. And then he paused. And then he was like, maybe if she just had a daughter or something. And he was like, just like kind of sat there, like
thinking contemplating this.
Like he had come up with this like very interesting idea. He's like, okay, I got to like find Cynthia's long lost daughter or something. And I was like,
yeah.
So
that was fantastic.
He is as advertised. He truly is. You know, he is just great. So,
and for those of you at home wondering about the B line, I'm trying not to curse, but for those of you who know me personally, I curse a lot.
I found it.
Yay! Yes.
All right, hold on. Let me just read it through one time so I make sure I get the Cynthia.
Yeah, get into character.
Yep, exactly.
I need to center myself.
All right, and then I'm gonna mic drop and walk off. Okay.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Okay, so.
Sorry, this is the best show ever.
Okay. All right. So this is talking about. All right. So I'll read the line. All right. So this is about when people after the solve was announced that. Saying that they were just about to get it. I had just been out there the week before. This just happened when I was about to go pick it up the next day. That kind of stuff. And so when Cynthia and I were on a phone call about it, she said, "It It's so absurd. I just can't get over how many people there are out there thinking that, Cynthia said, cackling with laughter. Everybody calling in, thinking that they have it solved, and someone just beat them to it. Yeah, thank you. It's like, you stupid bastards. You haven't been right for all these years. So hopefully that was close.
Very good. That was, yeah, very good.
I think I went a little faster on when you actually said stupid bastard. I think you were like, you stupid bastards. You were a little slower on that. I think I rushed it a little at the end.
Very good.
I tend to talk faster than you do, so that's my fault.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That was actually a lot of fun. So.
I think that was a beautiful way to end it, Dan.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get back to work. But thank you for having me, Cynthia. Always such a pleasure. Amy, great to see you again after essentially about 4 years. Yeah,
so, you're welcome back anytime, and I will give you Matt DeMoss's information.
Absolutely. No, again, Matt's stuff is amazing. So, yeah, no, guys, thank you. I appreciate you having me. Great to get to talk this stuff. So,
it was nice to hang out.
Yeah, thank you. And
next time, bring Beep.
Yes, yeah. Hey, well, you can call him on your own, So, all right. Have a great night. Thank you, guys.
You have a great night too. Thanks for a great book. All right, everyone. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go back to chat again. Let's see what's going on. I'm sorry I missed so many questions, but we did have. He stuck around for longer. Yeah, I know he's tries to stick to an hour, and oh shoot. Justin gave a super chat for the question.
Yikes.
Sorry, Justin. He was done with super chats. He says, Dan, what are your thoughts on the CBS 48-hour special? Were you pleased with how the story presented? I'll have to have Dan on again. Okay, Justin, I'll refund your money. I'll buy you a few sidecars. Okay, so I'm going to go through and see what questions I did miss. And, oh my gosh, so many questions, you guys. What was the last thing? I think I got most of them, though. I missed Justin's. I'm so sorry. All right, here's a quick question. Are you... Oh, Charles Chapman, too. Shoot. Dan was the face value. Yes. Oh, geez, I am so sorry, guys. I'll ask these questions in an email. I don't know if Dan will answer or not. Charles Chapman says... Dan, what was the face value of the U.S. gold coins? Shoot, I am really sorry I missed those guys. But I'll ask him in an email and see if he'll answer. Probably not. But maybe he'll answer to Matt. Okay, so quick question to you guys. And Cynthia. Do you want to stay on and talk about what he talked about? Or are we done? Cynthia?
Oh, how's my internet connection? Am I breaking up real bad?
No, actually, you're pretty good.
I had to go to my hotspot because I lost the internet.
Is that when you dropped off?
Yeah, so now I'm on the hotspot. So as long as I'm okay and you can hear me, I will stay on if other people want us to.
Okay, cool. And Justin and Matt, let us know if you want me to send you a Zoom invite as well, if you guys want to join us. It's all good, no worries. Justin, you're getting your money back whether you like it or not. Sidecars or something. Save it for a new hat for the show. Thanks, Justin. All right, I'm going to start scrolling up for the Amy Seeks. Hooli, Dan Barbarisi, page 299, chapter 15, S Bastards. Thank you, Hooli. I wish we had seen that earlier. I'm so sorry. Scrolling up. Chill Chaser, did Dan share his original ending that he finished in June 2020 with Forrest? And if so, what did Forrest think about it? Excellent question. Scrolling up. Again, let us know if you want us to stay on and chat or invite some people. Amy Seeks, will at Cynthia book be called Homophobic Fenn Fables and Facts? I don't even know what that means. Jason Northgate, Amy Seeks, thanks again for the fun show. Hi, and thanks to Dan and Cynthia. Hi, Cheetos.
My book will be called Stupid Bastards. Of the Fenn case.
Dan's going to have to be the silent ghostwriter partner.
Yeah.
For that one. Okay, Two Trip says that Amy Seeks, did Jack share with Dan any of his personal photos, if any, at the find site? These are good questions. I'll try and make a list of them and see if Dan has any interest in answering them. Bobby D, what is the general context of the things that he can't or isn't allowed to say about the chase? Tina, we've discussed this with Amy Seeks before. Yes, it's a great idea. Don't know what that is. Wayfarer of the Wilderness. Ooh, cool name. Dan, what can you say to some of the people in the chase community who think Jack and yourself were hired by Forrest? Oh my God. Dan being hired by Forrest. To the end of the chase early write about. I think that was actually talked about on K-Pro show, but I'm not totally sure. Oh shoot, and I can't scroll up anymore. There's so much chat. Okay, I'll go and look at the chat at the show later.
Well, one of the things, Amy, you could tell the people is before we went live, Dan said he will not address basically any of the conspiracy stuff, right?
He was
what he said.
I should try and remember what he said. I should be better at that, right? But I know it was something like where it was just like an oh geez, right? Cynthia, you're better at remembering those kinds of things than I am. I was kind of
I don't think he wants to dignify even going there again. I mean, there was so much of it on K-Pro show Thursday night.
Right, K-Pro covered it.
We talked about it right before Amy went live, and he's at least on Amy's show. That was not going to be anything he was going to talk about tonight.
Right, and I do think it was covered. So, I would have been repetitive if it was talked about on mine anyway. So if you have a lot of those questions, K-Pro show did cover a lot of it, I think. Right? I sped watch it. So and again, thank you to everyone who wrote in emails and questions and all that kind of stuff. I speed through a lot of this stuff because of course you have your normal life and you have your Fenn life. And so, but you could tell he was just like, and I feel the same way what was the comment? There was a comment on one of my channels. Sometimes YouTube sends me the comment via email and sometimes it doesn't. But one of them it sent was, what was it called? The Chase Underground. We're the Chase Underground. And I'm like, what's that? I'm like, that sounds so cool. But it's weird to be put in the category of someone who knows things. And I'm like, I know things. I'm like, ooh, because because I don't. I mean, there's certain things I know, but there's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing. And Dan's kind of in that same category. Yes, obviously he knows some things that were off the record, the off the record thing. But boy, it's definitely nothing groundbreaking.
Or is it? How do you know it's not groundbreaking if you don't know what it is?
Hold on, I'm going to have half of this gin and tonic and answer that question. No, I mean, there's a certain allure to being seen as someone who's in the know, right? Ooh, I know things and all that kind of stuff. But if I'm honest, I don't. If I'm honest, I don't. Let's see here. I'll scroll back down. On the rocks with salt. Yeah. So Cynthia, do you want me to invite Matt and Justin, or should we end this? Do you guys want to keep talking?
No, I want you to invite Jack.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, sure. If Matt and Justin would like to come on, that would be great because maybe they have something. Do you want to go to the 48 Hours show now and talk about that to your viewers and your chat room, or should that be another show? Or,
oh my goodness, I just saw the screenshot.
Amy, whatever you want to do, Amy.
Well, I guess I'll leave it up to chat. I'll go ahead and send out the invite. It's almost, I guess we could chat for another half hour. That would make it 2 hours.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it would just be the 2 hours.
Are you going to bring in Justin and Matt?
Oh, shoot. Hold on. There was stuff I was going to show real quick because it is the literary edition. So we've got, of course, for any of you unfamiliar, we have Dale's new blog. And let's just say there's more to come on the blog. I'll just say that for now. We have, of course, the Closet Stories of Taos. We've got the email Where I've Been, which a lot of you really wanted to know. Basically, there's going to be more to come. So I would say keep Dale's blog up in your tabs on your website. It's going to be a wonderful blog. So I did want to mention that again. Let's see here. The end questions. Okay, covered. Cool. A big thank you too to the super chats of my last show. I'll try and put like thank yous up on my next show for all the super chats that people do, because that's hard-earned money for you guys. It's a big deal. Oh yeah, the meetup in West Yellowstone. So David Rice, Desert File, right? So he's talked about the meetups. Oh shoot, let me send out the Zoom invite first. Cynthia, do you want to talk a little bit about Fenbury as far as the developments so far?
No, I don't want to talk about Fenbury, but I want to talk about West Yellowstone.
Okay, yeah, talk about West to June 5th, right?
Yeah, so some people will be in West Yellowstone over the June 5th, June 6th weekend, which is the first anniversary of the treasure chest search coming to an end. I think Matt and Justin and Amy have agreed that obviously it's going to be very informal, but I think what we're telling everybody, or at least what I've been telling some people, is go to Bullwinkle's both of those nights, like a Saturday, Sunday, I believe, and we will show up eventually in the bar section of Bullwinkle's. The good thing about Bullwinkle's is there's a lot of parking behind it. And also, if you're in a hotel in West Yellowstone, almost everything would be within walking distance of it. And we're not doing any kind of advertising other than you can get my email from my website. You can get Amy, are you able to put your email up easy?
Oh, yep. Let me do that. Let me pull that up while you're talking.
So email either me or Amy if you're going to be there. But this is why I'm just making the call right now. What I've told some other searchers that are in that area, just come to Bullwinkle's both those evenings, and eventually our foursome will show up.
Yeah, and I actually have just, thanks to Huli was actually giving me some great information that Dan sometimes talks about the events he's doing on Twitter. And I'm just not a social media person, right? I'm on Facebook once a week, if that, which I apologize to anyone who sends me messages. Sometimes I miss them, sometimes I never see them. The best way to get a hold of me is the email above and the address above. But I am exploring Twitter, so maybe if I can get my tookers in gear, I can start posting updates on that kind of stuff on Twitter. So I'll let you guys know if I do get my tookers in gear and I'm able to do that.
So you can give the update on the Fenbury, because I think you have more of an update than I do.
Yeah, so the Fenbury is a bit of a mess right now. Not a huge deal. So Jamie's in the process now of being like, someone else needs to kind of take the reins. I was considering it. I wasn't quite sure. On the advice of some people who live in Santa Fe, I was told that maybe having it September, October would be better. But then David Rice, Desert File, and I'm going to put his book up again, Desert File. There he is. Sweet, sweet Desert File. He was talking about potentially kind of taking it over as well. And he's the original maker of Fenbury, so it would kind of be a beautiful ending to it. The risk, of course, there is that fire risk is too high and they close out Hyde Park. So that's where the crux is. And it's also what weekend is it? The weekend of what in Santa Fe?
It's the Indian Festival.
Right.
Yeah,
so
Indian Market. I'm sorry. It's Indian Market.
Okay. So getting lodging might be a little tricky. So I might email David and just find out, what he was thinking. Maybe, it'd be fun to have it on Forrest's birthday, but of course it might be too difficult to make happen. So maybe I'll by the way, hi David, in case you're watching. He's probably not, but hi. Maybe I'll contact him and see what he was thinking. So Fenbury's up in the air at the moment, but we'll keep you updated on the latest as far as that's concerned. There are a few Amy Seeks. And by the way, Justin and Matt, I did send out a Zoom invite in case you want to pop in. Bobby D, nice show, Amy. Oh, thanks, David Crump. Can you please ask Cynthia if she believes Jack is the finder? She didn't answer the question on your show the other night. I think she did, though. But go ahead and answer again.
Yes, absolutely. I have no reason to not believe Jack.
Amy Seeks, Jamie already told K-Pro to take over, and we plan July 24th in Vegas. Oh, Roger Dodger. Okay. So Chasing India is saying that K-Pro is definitely doing it July 24th in Vegas. And David Rice is still contemplating doing it August 22nd and having it be the last Fenbury. So there may be like Fenbury parties all summer long, which I'm okay with. I think would be fantastic. Geonut, would you all go to Colorado near Amy Seek's place on a private ranch? There you go. We have another Fenbury happening in Colorado on a private ranch. There you go, Geonut. I think
I say let's have one every 2 weeks through the summer. Let's just have a party, different places, spread them out.
Providing the alcohol.
You bring your own B.
BYOB. One more, Authors Guild. This is also what I wanted to screen share if I can find it. Why am I so computer illiterate here? This is pathetic. There we go. So it is the literary edition. This is Douglas Preston, who most of you are familiar with as far as being friends with Forrest. And he is in charge. Well, not in charge. What is his position? Shoot. Basically, I think president of, or basically he is managing the Authors Guild and promoting it and everything, and very engrossed and involved in it. Here's the homepage of it. Basically, it's support the authors, and that's what I did after I met Dan. I bought his Dueling Kings book. I think it's very important to do that because authors getting a fair wage is a tricky thing to do. So there you go, the Authors Guild. Check it out. Let's see what else was on here. Oh, I did want to show. So we have Desert Files book. We have Jenny Kyle's book, right? Very chase-oriented. There was a good, is there still one unsolved one? She's got a couple books out, and I think there might still be one unsolved puzzle in there, but I forget. I'll have to ask Jenny. And then, of course, this amazing book is the best book in the Forrest Fenn Chase ever written.
Yes.
Ever.
It's all filled with the wrong state. This is in the wrong state. Don't buy it.
Hey!
Don't
Look,
buy
you wrote
it.
something to me. To Amy, remember all the good times. Viva la Fonda. See you in Colorado.
Did I really write that?
You
Oh my
did.
God, I did.
Look at that.
Yes.
That was when we had lunch with Forrest at, what was that place called? The Blue? No. It was out of Santa Fe a little bit.
It was Tsuke Village Market.
Oh, that's what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Roger. That was very cool. Forrest had lunch with all of us, and then he came back later and had lunch with just a few of us. We were like, hello. And he's like, I'm still hungry. Like, okay. So, yeah, some wonderful books written there. Let's go back to chat real quick. Amy Seeks, could you ask Cynthia her next adventure? Thank you. Tina Pantola.
My next adventure happens June 4th or 5th when I go to the Yellowstone National Park area for 10 days. And I will be joined by the lovely Amy Seeks, Justin Posey and the Bronze Sniffing Dog, and Matt DeMoss, Smell the Sunshine. And we will bring home the bacon, which means we're going to find a nook.
Oh, I'm like, what does that mean? I like bacon.
Or it could mean other things too, but no. We will be looking for Zach's nookie.
I seriously haven't had enough to drink. Okay, I don't know why, but there's still 122 people watching. Go home, go home. We're just talking nonsense. I think that's kind of mostly the announcements, right? We've got Fenbury, we've got, what are we calling the anniversary? Because it's the anniversary, for anyone not familiar, it's the anniversary of the chest being found. So Jack found it June 5th and then retrieved it June 6th. What are we calling that anniversary? Do you guys in chat have any good names for the anniversary? We have Function in the Junction, Fenbury, World Series of Fenn. What should we call the anniversary of it, the chest being found?
Yeah, ask the chat room.
Okay. Do you have any ideas, Cynthia?
And give the winner a gift.
Oh, that would be fun. What should we give them?
I don't know.
Are you thinking dirty thoughts, Cynthia? Okay.
Yes, I am.
For the documentary Amy Seeks, is that what Cynthia means? Oh, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Clarify, Chasing Indy. Love you all.
Oh,
M6.
yeah, you know what she means. Nomadic, Sam. You know, our friend Sam. Oh, never mind. Forget it.
Is it an inside joke that has gone over my head?
No, I was thinking that you were there to meet Sam, but I'm sorry.
Sam.
Never mind. Just pass it on and keep on.
Oh, okay. Tell me
going.
later. Operation. I almost did Amy Seeks. That sounds dirty. What the heck is that? Chasing Indy. Packer Jack. We looky for Jack's nookie. Is that
That's it.
Oh, so Chasing Indy's calling Operation I almost did Amy Seeks. That sounds really bad. I'm hoping you mean something else, but we looky for Jack's nookie. That's funny, but that sounds really bad too.
So Chasing Indy, I believe that's a quote. Isn't that something that Forrest told Indy? That she should write a book and call it I Almost Found It, implying that Chasing Indy was really close to the treasure.
Oh, that might be. I'm not sure.
I mean,
I'm not
Chasing
sure.
Indy, actually, I'm not giving away her secrets. I think she's already talked about this. God, I hope so.
We have some good names
on her
here.
show. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have? That's good.
Let's see here. We have Fenniversary. We have The Day My Life Ended from Connor from House Husband Diaries.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Boom, I totally.
Yeah.
Carter. I actually do know you. Okay, Dig It in Yellowstone. Hashtag Fen Day. Oh, that's what Operation I Almost Did Amy Seeks. I don't know. Oh, okay. The End of Days.
Ooh, that's good.
Feniversary. The Nudgeversary. Finders Keepers. Losers Weepers.
That's good. That's appropriate. That's for sure.
Painfully so. The Big Chill. Hey, I named Lulybell. I named Function in the Junction, and Cynthia took credit. Oh, I didn't know that. As far as I knew, Lulybell, you were the one who did Function in the Junction. I never heard Cynthia say it. Oh, and we've lost monetization. All right, Bobby D. Ask Cynthia where she is primarily going to go nookie on the 6th.
Yellowstone.
My guess is Firehole. That's my guess. I had too many Yellowstone. There you go. I had too many AS and had to fix it. Susie beat me. Okay, I don't know that. OMG, that's what Fenn said in an email. I almost did. Okay. Nudgegate is a fast becoming the most popular held belief. Oh, I didn't know that. Taking the side, Packer Jack taking the sidecars down. Okay, I think we're at the end of that. Stepped on your toe, raw. Okay, yeah, I think we're done with that. Maybe you missed my message. Oh, Justin, Amy Six, maybe you missed my message. Please ask Cynthia, what is the name of her internet connection provider? Sounds like she is having connection issues. Oh. I'm sorry, Cynthia.
Is that from Matt or Justin? Is that Matt or Justin?
It
Obviously.
might be.
My God, it just says my internet connection is unstable. How could he read? He read my screen.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the other chat. Said, okay. He says you're doing. Okay, we're not saying that on my show. But I think we've reached the end of things. There's still 124 of you watching. How bored must you be on a Sunday to be watching the two of us talk stupid stuff? Well, I guess we can wrap it up here. What do you think, Cynthia?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
If our chicken ass friends are not going to join us,
this is what they said. You ladies are doing just fine without us boring dudes. And something else that I'm not going to repeat on the the show. So so there you go. Oh no, somebody got it in chat. Shiny black wall got the internet provider. Okay. Anyway, so if you guys, I'm going to show you guys real quick where you can purchase the book, because I do have to say, as a searcher, as somebody who's gone through, I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook, so if you are financially strapped, you can sign up for a month's worth of Audible for free, and the audiobook comes free with that. And then there are already apparently some used versions that you can also purchase for, wow, people are fast readers, on Amazon. And let's see here. You've got here on Penguin Random. There's wonderful articles about it. Here we have Goodreads. What's this one? Bookshop.org. And of course, Target has a very good price on it as well. So it's worth a read. I mean, it's approachable, and it tells the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it tells it in a very earnest way. It tells it in a way that's very honest and kind of brings you into the inner circle, if I may say that. It's like, so if you went to a Fenbury and you heard whispers of something, a lot of that is talked about in this book, except Dan talked about with personal, actual people. And it gave you insight into some of the what was it, like the FenTuber wars or the blog wars or the actual boots on the ground searching and the hardcore ups and downs emotionally that went into that. So as far as relatability for the people who are in the chase, this book had a lot of it. A lot of you may skip the chapters where it has to do with the other treasure hunts that are out there, but you might be intrigued by the other treasure hunts too, because there's such a similar emotional thing that is shared by all treasure hunters, whether it be an armchair treasure hunt or whether it be a regular treasure hunt, like the Mel Fisher one with the wreck of the Atocha, or ones that are like the I forget the Coronado one, right? So there is this primal desire to be a seeker, be a searcher. And it really comes through in this book, and Dan experienced it personally and then shared it through his own personal journey. And it went from, I'm going to be a great searcher and I'm going to write this book about it, like with Dueling Kings. And it turned into, wow, do I really actually want to find this treasure? Do I want to be put in that position of having figured it out and having all these people hate me? Right? Or think I had inside information or something like that, and my family to consider and all that kind of stuff. So he goes through this entire thing in this book, and it takes you on the journey. It's a journey, and it's a journey that's very familiar, and we've all been there. And Cynthia, the part where you were asking Dan to show you the fire hole area with the blaze and everything, I thought that was a great excerpt too. Of course, I do wish the two women duking it out on the highway would have made it in the book, because that. Let me see. So Cynthia will be writing the, what do you call it? The behind the.
My story about what went on behind the scenes
Behind
and
chasing the thrill.
the game behind the chase.
There you go.
And I decided that because Dan is such an excellent writer and I'm not, I would just make a rough draft and then I'll give it to him.
Are certain files going to be in that one?
Maybe.
We're going to have to pay you a lot of money to have certain files not in that one. Hey, DARC, how's it going? Night all, recording more people this week for GTC Talks to you soon. Okay, very cool. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. As always, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate seeing you all in here, and you have a wonderful Sunday. I may or may not be doing a show this coming Wednesday. I'm going to be kind of prepping to get ready to go to West, looking for accommodations, which could be tricky. Last minute accommodations in West Yellowstone in June. Who knows where I'll end up, but I may not have a show this coming Wednesday, but I'm thinking, since you guys love it so much, going live from West Yellowstone, like, if depending on if we actually do have a meetup in Bullwinkles and stuff like that. And now that I'm over 1,000 subscribers, I think I can do that from my phone. Maybe I'll do a test run and see. And that way we can bring all of you in together with us, celebrating and painfully crying over the fact that we were not the finders of the chest. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like or dislike this video and click subscribe, because there's always more to the story. Right, Cynthia?
Yes.
All right, let's see if I can properly end this. It's always quite the exploration of what buttons do I press and where. Are there any parting words that you have, Cynthia?
No.
Oh,
Thank
come
you.
on. Fill
Thank
in the
you.
blank.
No, thanks for having me on with Dan. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was a blast, wasn't it? Let's see if I can find. I think I might have lost it. Somewhere there is a Google part here that tells me, oh, Backyard Barbecue, can you post your email again? Oh, okay, I'll do that real quick before I head out. Actually, let me try and find how to end the stream first. Welcome to Amy Seeks, completely technologically illiterate here. Okay. My channel is eligible for something? Okay, Roger. Oh, I'm so not doing that. Sorry, it just told me my channel is eligible for some sort of special channel pay for something. There we go. All right, I'm gonna hire a tech person. YouTube Studio, I found it. I found where I'm supposed to go. Cynthia, you're supposed to be regaling people with oh, thanks Amy Seeks, thanks Cynthia Meacham. That's from Huli. Thank you, Huli, for being an awesome mod. Okay, so I found the go live button. I'm gonna be ending at any moment. Go to save. No, it's not made for children.
Are you really going to lose your super chat money?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Say, don't you have something you'd like to tell me? But if you do.
Oh, no. We'll save that for Bullwinkles.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. Okay.
Wouldn't that be perfect on Bullwinkles? Yes, and we'll set it up properly. So stay tuned, people. We have, yes, anyway, very few people know about this. Huli actually knows about this. Huli, you know about this, whether you know it or not. And you'll see it as we go live at Bullwinkles. So there you guys go. A big shout out. Again, love you guys so much. Thanks for being a wonderful community. Be kind to each other. And thanks for all the emails and all the kind things that you've shared. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's questions. And I love you guys. You have a great night. Good night, everyone.